Tonight, we travel to Western North Carolina, where Fraser firs grow as far as the eye can see. Next on North Carolina Now.
Quality public television is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
Good evening, I'm David Huppert, and thanks for watching North Carolina Now. Tonight, we talk about the Christmas tree industry in our state. Later, we travel to Hatteras Island and visit a studio that specializes in Christmas ornaments. But first, a choose and cut adventure in Watauga County.
I'm Thad Taylor, and I own the Big Ridge Tree Farm, and I share the work with my son Eddie and my grandson Matt.
Since 1985, Thad Taylor and his family have been growing and selling Fraser fir Christmas trees on their farm in Watauga County, halfway between Boone and Banner Elk.
You gotta love farming, you know, it's gotta be in your blood, but there's a lot of pride to growing a beautiful tree. It's got a good color, a good shape.
The Taylors run what's called a choose and cut operation, where customers weave their way through their 16-acre farm, searching for the perfect tree.
There's so many trees to choose from, right?
We enjoy people coming on our farm, and year after year, a lot of repeat customers and a lot of new customers. It's a fun thing to do.
Taylor, a retiree of Bell South, started farming trees on this land in 1985.
Planted 1,000 trees as a hobby, which grew and grew and grew until now it's turned into a pretty good little business for us. I guess you could compare it to growing to a garden, and there's times of the year that we're real busy and other times we're sitting back and watching the trees grow.
With over 1,000 trees per acre, Big Ridge is what Taylor considers an average-size farm. They specialize in Fraser firs, which grow naturally in the southern Appalachian Mountains. The high elevation and abundant rainfall create ideal growing conditions for the trees.
A 7-foot tree is probably 12 years old on average. It takes about 5 years to get the trees up to 15 to 16 inches, but once they're transplanted into the field, they'll go about a foot a year. They begin like a matchstick.
The Christmas tree industry is big business in North Carolina. According to the State Department of Agriculture, North Carolina ranks second in the nation behind Oregon in Christmas tree production. And Fraser firs account for over 90% of all the Christmas trees grown in our state.
One of the things that we're constantly looking for is color, that it's got a dark green, nice color, no yellowing and that sort of thing, and that all goes back to proper fertilizing and those things. Probably the most important thing is they retain their needles better than any other fir tree that we know of. You could take that tree or any of these and set them out in your backyard after Christmas and probably have a green tree come March.
But before you can put your tree out to pasture, you first have to choose and cut your ideal tree. And after a 2-hour drive from the Charlotte area, the Sharon family is eager to find their favorite fir. How many trees y'all looking for? Today, they're hunting for 2 trees. And it's a no-holds-barred competition for the perfect tree.
Y'all trying to steal our tree? Who's trying to steal it?
I didn't see it a while ago.
They're trying to steal our tree.
Like this one.
Hurry, get your tag out.
Cameron, Sharon, and his wife Becky are searching for an 8-foot tree with what they consider the perfect dimensions.
I teach math, so I want it to be straight up and down, and I want it to be symmetrical. I want it to look...
He wants it to be full.
I want it to look like exactly what you think a Christmas tree looks like.
The real challenge is that his father, Bobby Sharon, is looking for the same thing.
I'm kind of like my son. We're trying to find the perfect symmetrical round full tree.
With thousands of trees to choose from, the Sharons should not have any trouble finding 2 trees that live up to their geometric specs. The only problem is remembering which trees they like best.
Did we already look at that one? What do you think of that one, babe?
Can we look at that other one again?
You want to go look at that one again? Yeah. I was trying to find something that wasn't so close together, maybe. It is nice and full at the top.
We're going to look for the good one.
A lot of places for ornaments. We're going to go look over here. You can come look at the back.
You like that one better?
I don't think it's big enough this way.
These look like some nice big trees over here. That's too little. It's about 8.5 feet. That one's kind of cut. Let's go look at that one more time.
I like that one.
One more look.
While folks are frolicking around the farm, Thad's grandson, Matt Taylor, stands by with his chainsaw, patiently waiting for a sign that the hunt is over.
Do you think people are too picky about their tree?
No, I think a lot of families just enjoy coming out here and just being able to pick their trees and take their time. It gets to be a family tradition.
After examining nearly every tree on the farm, Cameron and Becky Sharon finally settle on their top choice.
That's it.
Hold on now.
All right,
That's
there it
the one.
is.
It's the Griswold family Christmas tree.
And now the fun part, putting the cut in choose and cut.
You got a bow saw that I can use?
At the top we do.
I'm cutting it right. I thought I got a little angle on it. All right, baby, you want to do some? Here, you can do some.
I don't want to be here all day.
You can do it.
I don't think I've cut a thing. There, we can say I did something.
How much more I got? It is big, isn't it? All right, y'all finish it. I'm done. There it goes.
After a couple of hours on the farm, the Sharons are on their way with 2 North Carolina Fraser firs. Their choose and cut adventure is complete, from the farm to the family room. For more information about Big Ridge Christmas Tree Farm, visit their website at bigridgetreefarm.com. We also have a link on our website at unc-tv.org/ncnow. In addition to the Big Ridge Tree Farm, North Carolina is home to over 1,600 Christmas tree growers. I recently had the chance to sit down with Jennifer Green, Executive Director of the North Carolina Christmas Tree Association, to learn more about the impact this industry has on our state. Jennifer, how's the Christmas tree crop looking this year?
Things are looking great. Sales seem to be up, and we've had really good weather.
And what is it about North Carolina that makes Christmas trees so prosper so much here?
Well, North Carolina, we are second in the nation for Christmas tree production, and Fraser fir only grows naturally in the southern Appalachian Mountains, and Fraser fir represents 92% of the Christmas trees that come out of North Carolina.
And you guys are number 2 behind Oregon, is that right?
Yes.
You guys are all about the fact that you grow these real trees. Now, how important is that in your message and what all the farmers are trying to work so hard to do out here?
Oh, it's very important. Real Christmas trees are actually a better environmental choice. They are a renewable, recyclable product, and for every acre of Christmas trees that are planted, it produces enough oxygen for 18 people.
Wow. Okay.
On a daily basis.
So you brought that up. I'm glad you did. The environmental question. Some people have questions about that. These trees are grown here, they're cut down, they're shipped all over the country and the world even, right? Sometimes some sort of pesticides or herbicides might be used. What's the environmental impact of this really big industry in North Carolina?
Well, most North Carolina growers, they practice IPM management, which is integrated pest management, which is scouting your field to put smaller doses to control the pests and diseases that might be out there. Because you have to remember that all of these are farm-grown Christmas trees, and most of the growers live on the plantation or near where their Christmas trees are grown. And so, you know, they're not going to put their family and their children in harm's way.
And we're out here at a Christmas tree farm right now. Are these family farms mostly, small operations? It must take a lot of farms to produce as many trees as we do here in North Carolina.
It is. There are approximately 1,500 growers in North Carolina, and most of those, the majority of those are smaller growers of 10 acres or less. 10
acres or less, okay. And how many trees annually would you say North Carolina, what is it, sells or produces? How do you measure that exactly?
Well, there are approximately 50 million Fraser fir growing on over 25,000 acres in North Carolina, and there are approximately 5 million harvested every year,
wow,
which brings in over $100 million.
Where do people buy these trees?
Oh, everywhere. North Carolina Fraser fir is shipped to every state in the United States and also overseas to places like Mexico, the Caribbean, Venezuela, Bermuda.
Is that some sort of centralized thing that the North Carolina Christmas Tree Association will help facilitate, or is each farmer sort of up to their own, put a sign out on the road, come inside, choose and cut your own tree, or is it I have a distribution deal with Walmart, or how does that work?
Well, the North Carolina Christmas Tree Association promotes real Christmas trees through marketing and education. And then, of course, the growers, North Carolina does have county associations. We're the only state in the nation that has county associations. And so the county associations also do marketing and promotion, and then the individual growers do their marketing and promotion.
I know last year there was some snow earlier in the year than folks expected out in the mountains. What's the ideal sort of weather pattern with summer droughts, and what are you looking for all year round in order to yield the best product come November and December?
Well, Fraser fir, like I said, they grow naturally in the southern Appalachians at 3,000 feet and above because they like the cooler climate, the rainfall, and of course we look for an early frost, and early frost is always good because it helps sets the needles, because Fraser firs are known for their good needle retention.
One question I have to ask you is about this news item that came out earlier this fall, I guess. Some people were saying there's a tax on Christmas trees. Any truth to that? No, it's not a consumer tax at all, and that's the main message that we want to get out there. It is a checkoff program that would be administered and overseen by USDA, but it would actually be Christmas tree producers that run the board of 12 people, and it's a national marketing campaign. If you're familiar with other national marketing campaigns such as Beef, It's What's for Dinner, The Incredible Edible Egg, Got Milk, all of those come from national checkoff programs, and they're funded by the industry growers and producers. You got it. So you go and you buy your tree, there's no additional tax. People are it's the same as it ever has been.
Correct.
Got it. Can you clue us in on what the slogan's going to be for the Christmas trees?
I have no idea. The board would be over that, and there hasn't been a board formed yet.
Got it. When people call you up, I'm sure consumers call you up, they have questions about Christmas trees in North Carolina. What are some common questions that they call up asking you?
One of the big questions is, is there anything that I can do to help keep my Christmas tree alive longer? How long will it last? I usually put mine up the weekend before Thanksgiving, and it stays up until mid-January. And the key is, make sure that you keep it away from direct sunlight, keep it away from heat sources, and make sure that it always has plenty of water in it, and just make sure it never goes dry. That's the key. Don't let it dry up.
And final question for you. We're number 2 behind Oregon. Any chance we'll eclipse them in the near future?
Well, I think that they produce about twice as many as we do, but we do hold number 1 for Fraser fir.
Great. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
To locate a Christmas tree farm near you, log on to ncchristmastrees.com. We also have a link on our website at unctv.org/ncnow. Choosing and cutting your tree is only part of the adventure. The next step is decorating the limbs with your favorite ornaments. I recently visited a studio on Hatteras Island whose local ornaments have made national headlines.
All right, you cut. We'll do them together. How's that?
It's been nearly a decade since Gary Skeena and his wife Carolyn opened their doors on US 12. Their Avon Arts and Crafts studio is one-stop shopping for throwing pottery, making mosaics, and rejuvenating your spirit through art.
I've been doing it for about 9 years, and I don't know, I just took to it pretty easily. It's relaxing, and it's cool to be able to create something with your hands almost instantaneously.
In 2001, Gary was living in New York City and working on Wall Street. On September 11th, he called in sick in order to be home to sign for an important package. He had no idea what would transpire later that morning, but the events of 9/11 would change his life forever.
Life is an incredible adventure. You just got to live it. Moving down here was a big decision, and when things happen easily, I think they're meant to be, and it happened so easily, so it was meant to be.
After 9/11, they packed their belongings and moved from New York to the Outer Banks, hoping to do something that would make the world a better place.
We were really interested in giving people an opportunity to have peace. When we decided to start the business, we were really asking ourselves, what do we want to put into the world? This was right after 9/11. People were very focused on stress and you know how that affects our lives. People were making life changes, and we were thinking about how do we help support people having more quiet time or peace in their lives.
Their love of the outdoors and the Outer Banks inspired them to open Studio 12.
When we thought about the studio, and we constantly get this feedback from people, they come in, they sit down, they find something to do, whether it's painting pottery or doing a mosaic, and there's just this breath, this sigh of relief, and they go, oh, this is so relaxing. And then we go, bingo, we did it. We did what we set out to accomplish. And then of course the second part is, well, then how do you make a living off that, you know? And that's happening. You know, it's taken us years of hard work, but we're finally seeing the results of that.
In the fall of 2011, the Skinas received a call asking if they would like to design an ornament that would represent North Carolina in a ceremony in Washington, D.C.
It was middle of October, just maybe about 4 or 5 weeks after Irene had come through, when we got contact and asked if we wanted to do this. You know, do we want to make the ornaments for the 2011 National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony? So I thought, well, yeah, that sounds great. We could do that.
With a 3-week deadline and their studio still in shambles, the Skinas surveyed the task at hand.
When we said yes to it,
yeah,
we didn't know like how that was going to happen, because we had no studio. Everything was ripped out. We had no table space. We had no access to our kilns, you know, all of that. So we said, yeah, we'll do that. We'll figure out how we're going to do that.
With help from teenagers at Locomotion, a Hatteras-based youth organization, Studio 12 designed, created, and shipped the ornaments to the nation's capital by mid-November.
We wanted to have something that really represented sort of a slice. So when you looked at it, you said coastal North Carolina, and that's how we came up with the design. Obviously the lighthouse had to be included, and we put sea oats in there, and they had to be blowing because the wind is such a, you know, prevalent part of our life here. And then I snuck in a little crab on the corner there too. When we first were asked to do the ornament, we were just thinking about getting together with the kids from Locomotion and how much fun that would be, and making these ornaments for the tree. And it really didn't occur until later when someone said, well, you're going to be selling them, right? And we said, well, I guess we'll be selling them. I guess we'll do a limited edition. That sounds great.
The orders came pouring in.
People from all over the country are ordering them, yeah. And I think part of that's probably our customer base, because, you know, there's people all over the place that come to the Outer Banks and love the Outer Banks.
Just a few months after receiving the initial call, the Skinas attended the 2011 National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony in Washington, D.C.
I mean, it was absolutely thrilling to walk up to where they had the huge national tree, and it's surrounded by all the state trees. And there was our tree right there with our names on the sign and all of our beautiful ornaments hanging there, and all of these people seeing it. There's the White House, there's the Washington Monument, you know, and there's the tree with our stuff on it, you know. I mean, it was really exciting.
The devastation caused by Hurricane Irene left an indelible mark on the Outer Banks. When Irene came ashore, she washed away the profits that normally accompany a busy Labor Day weekend.
That last week is big for us. We lost that. And we lost all of September. So this is a really nice additional revenue that's definitely welcome. You just never know what plan God has for you. 10 years ago, I was, you know, on Wall Street, and now my artwork's on the North Carolina state tree. I mean, go figure. Pretty incredible, I think.
Carolyn and Gary Skina never set out to design an ornament that would adorn the state tree in Washington, D.C. It came to them through their celebration of community and goodwill. And despite their recent success, they remain committed to providing a peaceful studio where people can lose themselves in their art, moment by moment.
That original concept of wanting people to have a sense of relaxation and restore themselves, that happens on a daily basis, and it's wonderful because you see people come in with the whole family, you know.
It's like art therapy.
It's like art therapy, yeah. It's kind of like art therapy, yeah. But they don't know it. They think they're just coming in to make a beach souvenir.
For more information about Studio 12, visit their website at studio12hatteras.com. You can also find them on Facebook. And finally tonight, we visit the Magnolia Queen and her merry elves, who spread holiday joy with their local and seasonal wreaths.
I'm not really interested in creating a super perfect product. One of the very special things about my product is it is made by hand. I always want it to look like a person has touched it.
Erin Weston takes an artistic approach to horticulture at her family farm in Garner. She uses fresh, local, and abundant materials to create elaborate home decorations.
My product is magnolia wreaths, the round circles. I kind of dismissed the idea of making wreaths because I held it in my imagination that a wreath was not necessarily an artistic expression. But when I realized that I could grow something on my farm, these round circles that go on doors can be anything that you direct them to be.
The self-taught wreath maker uses materials native to North Carolina, including everything from cotton to pine cones to the leaves themselves. Weston incorporates a special cultivar of southern magnolia leaves that infuse her products with a texture and color not often associated with more traditional magnolia leaves. So when most people think of magnolia leaves, they think of this.
Yes, and they're exactly right. Both of these are magnolia. But what separates them, let's flip it over, is the back side. It's what's on the back. And the Weston Farms cultivar Cape Harris, it looks like it's been dipped in chocolate velvet. I almost compare it to a fake plant. It's so pretty it looks fake.
The smaller, waxier, half-brown, half-green leaves that Weston weaves into her wreaths keep their color, shape, and size for years, unlike more common varieties of magnolia leaves, which tend to dry out and crumble.
I would not be making wreaths unless I was growing the material, because I would not be able to find this much abundance unless I was supplying it. There's not this much of this type of magnolia available, so I have to grow it for this purpose.
Fortunately for Weston, her family had the land and the knowledge to propagate, plant, and prune these unique southern magnolia trees. Her father, Noel Weston, spent 30 years as the horticulturist for the city of Raleigh, and it's evident that the leaf has not fallen far from the tree.
The cryptomeria, can we get more of those?
Sure.
That'd be awesome.
Weston has learned a lot from her father, especially the importance of good soil. Erin, why'd you bring me all the way up here?
I brought you up here to really show you that a good wreath starts with a good tree, and a good tree starts with mulch. And it requires a lot of mulch. And every time we plant a tree, we put in about 10 gallons of these hardwood tree chips. So it's our mountain of mulch.
The Mountain of Mulch is a community waste product that Weston Farms recycles into black gold, a perfect diet for North Carolina's harsh growing conditions.
I say sometimes that North Carolina is the New York City of gardening. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And that's because gardening is tough here. It's hot, we have droughts, and it's cold. So we've really had a lot of issues finding this perfect assortment of plants.
The plants are chosen for their hardy traits as well as their decorative appeal. After all, the wreaths are only as beautiful as their leaves, and Weston makes sure to give them her full attention in the design room as well as the field.
People ask me, how long does it take to make a wreath? And my answer is usually 3 years, because it takes 3 years for a tree to be in full production.
After 3 or 4 years, the leaves are ready for harvest, and Weston descends upon her studio to work alongside her assistants, affectionately known as the Weston Farms Elves.
I'm intentionally using fresh, abundant sources of materials in my wreaths. A really good example is cotton. I had a student that has a cotton farm, and they create abundance of cotton, and it's just a really fun product to incorporate into the wreath. Although that is not a product that I'm growing on my farm, it is something that I can add seasonally, which makes it local to North Carolina.
Weston Farm sells its seasonal products on its own website, as well as the State Farmers Market in Raleigh.
The farmers market has really built my business, and it has been a group of people who have supported me and been cheerleaders for what I'm doing. It's just been unreal.
Look at the magnolia. It's so elegant. I think this should go on Governor Perdue's front door.
Oh, thank you.
How much more North Carolina can you get than that?
Weston Farms celebrates the agricultural and artistic diversity found throughout North Carolina. Its customers appreciate the elegant designs crafted from traditional southern plants.
We in the South love magnolia. Magnolia is magic for us. It's what grandmother went out and harvested all times of the year, and she'd bring it in the house. And so it brings a special feelings to our heart. And this is not grandma's magnolia. She may throw in pheasant feathers, she may throw in turkey feathers, peacock feathers. We don't know what she's doing next, but she has the creative wherewithal to take and experience things most people wouldn't. But when she puts it together, it's all beautiful. That's why we call her the Magnolia Queen.
For more information on Weston Farms, you can visit their website at westonfarms.com. That's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. From all of us at UNC-TV, have a wonderful holiday.
Quality public television is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.